Welcome to the Beauty Equation podcast, where beauty meets biology, psychology, and art history. This podcast is hosted by myself, Dr. Christelle Oliver-Dussault, Dr. Harpreet Lotay, and a beauty industry expert, Amanda Manholt. This is your space to reclaim agency over aging and beauty on your terms. We're cutting through the noise with evidence-based insights and real talk about aging, self-perception, and modern treatments. No quick fixes, no fluff. Just honest conversations to empower you to define beauty for yourself. Welcome back to the Beauty Equation. I'm Dr. Christelle Oliver-Dussault.
And I'm Dr. Harpreet Lotay.
And I'm Amanda Manholt.
And Amanda and I are joining you from our clinic today, and Dr. Lotay is joining in virtually. We wanted to talk about a word that has been used a lot and a little bit too loosely, in my opinion, the word bioregenerative. I'm sure many of you have heard that. Many different treatments claim to be bioregenerative, but we want to delve into what it actually means and whether those treatments that are being offered are actually what they claim to be.
Yes.
So maybe I'll let you start off.
Sure. I feel like it's another marketing term. I think over the last couple of years, people have been shying away from filler because, perhaps they've seen traditional filler overdone or that type of thing. And so as we've looked for other ways to frame things, bioregenerative became a very, very hot topic, let's just say. And also, there are newer products on the market or newer ways to use old products that do bioregenerate. So, let's get into it. What does that exactly mean? And I would say that it means that we're doing something to make your body regenerate itself or turn on a physiological pathway that's already there that perhaps is slowed down with aging or perhaps isn't as efficient. So we're stimulating the skin, and we stimulate the skin all the time in nature. If we cut ourselves, we bioregenerate and fix the cut. If we scratch ourselves or exfoliate our skin, the skin repairs itself or bioregenerates. If we poke ourselves with a needle, our skin will fix that hole. That is bioregeneration. And so this term can include a whole gamut of things that we already do, including lasers, including other treatments that we can talk about in future episodes too, like Radius and Sculptra. So that's how I think about it.
Yeah, I think a bit about it as we are also trying to reverse the clock on a cellular level. So with the tools that we have, we are tweaking the way our bodies works. And if we think about it at the level of the skin and the layers beneath the skin where we have the cells like fibroblasts that make collagen, you mentioned that, things don't get produced as efficiently. We're trying to get those fibroblasts to produce collagen and elastin and all the wonderful things that they make in a more efficient manner and to provide a better quality of that, to reverse the clock, because those components are continually being degraded in your skin.
Yeah, and I think
How do you talk about it?
I think so typically the people I see are, they're not 20.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're aging, and I explain that, these processes that are natural within the skin, they just get a little lazy and a little worn out. And we're trying to do what we can to just give that process a helping hand, essentially sort of speed up the rate at which we regenerate new cells, right? We think about how the cellular turnover for skin cell, we say, oh, when we're young and healthy, it's like every 4 weeks, but as we age, it can be much longer than that. So I don't know, that's kind of the way I always explain it.
Yeah, and I think it goes hand in hand with this interest in longevity, right?
Yes,
And turning back the clock, being more youthful, and not just looking more youthful, but can we do something where our physiology behaves more like it did when we were younger? So, all these things that people are interested in, cold plunging, certain supplements, and so on. So it's very topical when we talk about
Hmm.
bioregenerative treatments. It does, as you both said, make your skin behave in a way that it did when it was younger.
Why do you think people are using the word bioregenerative in conjunction with natural?
Well, that's a great question. I think when you just say those two things together, they seem to fit. You've
They
got
do.
bio, which is biology, regeneration, which doesn't really indicate that you're putting something in,
Hmm.
and that feels more natural. None or all of those things may be true.
Right? Yeah. Like,
No.
this is what I find really fascinating
Oh
about
my.
how it's discussed.
The word natural is, I'm sorry, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me
It's a
because, like,
minefield.
oh man, it's the marketing over the years has just, with natural whatever. I'm like, well, how much? And, what else is in it? And if you really want natural, like, wouldn't I just go rub a coconut on my face? And
Yeah. And I think
marketing drives me nuts. I think that's it. And so I think, especially when it comes to this bioregenerative thing where
mm,
it's, it's, it's like the corporate buzzwords. So we're talking about low hanging fruit and you're
yeah.
give it a,
So let's take the marketing out of it. Let's let's take the marketing out of it and ask ourselves, do bioregenerative treatments actually hold value above and beyond fillers, right? And when I think about those things, I go back to first principles and think about, well, how do we age? How do we actually age? Well, when it comes to facial aging, let's keep it simple, and skin aging, right? We lose volume in our skeleton, we lose volume in our fat cells, and then our skin starts to become thinner. Its cellular turnover slows down. We don't make as much collagen.
Mhm.
Those are some of the basic physiological things. And with fillers, traditional fillers, hyaluronic acid based fillers, we can target the volume, but then with our bioregenerative, and, we haven't yet figured out how to reverse skeletal bone loss.
Mhm.
So let's put that aside. But then when we turn our attention to the skin aging itself, can we actually target those things? Can we target collagen production? And the answer is yes, we can. Right? So there are bioregenerative treatments that target that. Can we target the thinning of the skin? Yes, we can. Even with things like retinol, that's bioregenerative. It's making your skin be thicker, it's making your skin turn over better. Can we improve pigment production to normalize it? Yes, we can use lasers for photobiomodulation. We have lasers that will change the way your genetic expression is within the skin. So yes, I do believe that it has value, but only when you use it with intention and tool is doing what and what targeting in terms of the actual aging, right?
Yeah.
So fillers are never going to be the be all end all. Lasers are never going to be the be all end all. Our bioregenerative treatments alone will not be the be all end all for every patient, but they all have a place, and teasing that out is our job as experts and, providing a plan for people.
Yeah, because I think that's where it can get confusing for the general public, where they're getting so much information on social media, be it Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and they come in with an understanding of heard bioregenerative, I'm interested in that treatment. But really, with the conversation, you need to break it down for them and explain, well, this might be a good option for your specific concern, which comes back to what we've said at almost every single episode
Exactly.
so far, tailoring it. But I think it's helpful to understand that bioregenerative regeneration can mean so many different things and can have so many different applications.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even when you talk about, let's talk about regular microneedling versus radio frequency microneedling, right? And, they're both bioregenerative. You could, I guess, argue that radio frequency microneedling is more effective in that it uses an alternate pathway
Mhm.
to bioregeneration. Like, am I explaining that correctly in terms of one is mechanical and the other one is, heat shock proteins? Yeah, the
Yeah,
other
I
one's like
think that's right.
mechanical and heat shock protein,
Yeah,
right?
you're getting a twofer. And then if you add something else on top of it, like calcium hydroxyapatite, you're getting a threefer, and you actually get multiplicative effects. So you can actually get more bioregeneration than if you did each one of those separately, if that makes sense.
And I guess the question is when is the right age to start bioregenerative treatments? Do you start early and be, you know, preventative? I don't
Mhm.
even know if that's the right word in that case, or do you wait?
Mm.
I think
Also a
I
good
would say
question.
a layered approach, right? So, like, if you are in your 20s and you're listening to this and you're wondering what should you be doing at that stage, usually at that stage, probably just wearing sunscreen and some microneedling might not be a bad idea to dress skin quality. You may even consider using a little bit of retinol. And then as you get into your 30s, you might get a little bit more aggressive with the treatment if you start noticing different changes. Because from our mid 30s, some people can start to have a little bit of volume loss. So you could look at the bioregenerative injectables or also some of the devices that we have. And it can help to look at where you're going. So look at your older siblings, at your parents, at your aunts, your uncles, grandparents. What trajectory did they follow? And that can give you a sense of where you're going, or have that conversation with your provider, show them photos, and then you can have a discussion of what your Achilles heel would be and how you might want to preempt that.
Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, and I agree. And thinking about when the changes actually happen. So as you said, in our 20s we start losing collagen, but it's not happening at a very rapid rate
No,
as it
that's
would
right.
in our menopausal or perimenopausal years. So, in your 20s doing something like traditional microneedling is not it's not a huge investment in time and money. It also doesn't have a lot of downsides to it, or that's going to be good enough along with protecting the collagen that you already have. But then as you head into a steeper decline, you're going to need to amp up the procedures that you choose. So radiofrequency microneedling, plus or minus other injectables. And as you said, everyone's trajectory is different based on their genetics.
Hmm. Yeah. So we can just blame our mom and dads for more. Listen, I know my kids are going to blame me for all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So we can
It's
just be more self
inevitable.
aware and plan accordingly. Right. Yeah. So I guess really when you hear the word bioregenerative, know that it's a very broad encompassing term. Sometimes marketing is throwing it in there to make it seem like it's new or exciting, but really, it's been around as long as we have, as long as you've been able to skin your knee and heal it. Right.
Exactly. Now, that being said, there are two injectables that have really gained popularity, and we're going to be talking about them in the next couple of episodes. One of them is Radius or calcium hydroxyapatite, and there is a newer calcium hydroxyapatite injectable coming on the market, and is on the market now in North America, called Harmonica. And,
Mm-hmm.
Sculptra is the other one that a lot of people have come in actually naming and asking for. That has actually been around for a very long time, but has gained popularity lately. And we'll be talking about those injectables in our next couple episodes. So join us for those. And if you have any more questions about bioregeneration or anything aesthetics, please do email us at info@thebeautyequation.com. Until next time,
See you next time. Bye for now.
bye. Before we wrap up, just a quick reminder. While we're medical professionals, everything shared on the Beauty Equation is for informational purposes only and isn't intended as medical advice. This podcast doesn't establish a doctor-patient relationship, and any medical or aesthetic decision should always be made with a qualified healthcare provider. Our views are our own and don't necessarily reflect those of our employers or affiliated organizations. And remember, the field of aesthetics is always evolving, so information may change over time. See you next time on The Beauty Equation.
Thank you for tuning in today. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who might need to hear it too. We'd love to hear your thoughts or questions. you can send us an email at info@thebeautyequation.com, and you might hear your question answered in future episodes. You can also find us on Instagram at Dr. Christelle MD, at H. Lotay MD, and at Crow's Feet in Confidence. Until next time, keep questioning the equation.